Well, it's been too hot or even raining this last couple of weeks over here to do any work on that GEC Bakelite valve radio I was working on. You know, I'd get home after work and think, oh yeah, I'll do some work on the cabinet, and it was pouring with rain, and this last weekend gone, it was so hot that it was, you know, not comfortable to stay outside and do any work. So anyway, I've thought I'd show this one being unboxed. This is a set that arrived recently from eBay. It's quite an unusual radio. I've never seen one over here before. So let's just crack on and open the box and see what we got. And hopefully it's survived the journey. Wrapped up rather well, but not much padding on the ends. Let's have a look. It was free postage though, so the chap or lady's done a quite reasonable job on it. Right. Certainly plenty of bubble wrap on it. Right, here we go. This is a put all this bubble wrap in the box. This is a national Panasonic set. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go, national Panasonic. It's a model RF-884L, and I think this dates from the late 1960s, and the reason I bought it is it looks fairly intact, and it's obviously meant for the German market. I don't know if you can see that very well. Automatic and KW for shortwave there, UKW for VHF, what we call VHF FM. So this was probably destined for the European market, so specifically the German market. And I noticed what's interesting about it as well is you could buy a, see that connector in the back there, you could buy like a radio, like a car radio kit that slotted into the back here, and that would power off your 12 or 6 volt car battery. So it doesn't look too bad. There's nothing's missing. Now this is the big check, obviously, whether the aerial is intact. No, it isn't, but that's repairable. That is just the shell come out, so I'll fix that in a minute. There's a little shell come out the end, and the other bit's gone flying on the floor somewhere, but I can fix that. That's not, oh, it's just the little, right, so that will slot back to 10. I can fix that in a minute, that's not an issue. Right, so if I just lower the camera down, we'll have a better look at it. Down. Right. Hopefully you can see that. It's in pretty good condition actually, and one of these went in the US for over $120, and I thought, you know, I'd obviously bought this before researching it, as one does. Yeah, $120. I thought, must be a rare one. I can't seem to find it anywhere else, but I'm just on off switch, bass, treble, don't know what that one is. Oh, that's the tuning. Well, it all seems to tune alright, and it's got a really nice grill as well. No dents. This one should clean up really quite nicely. I'll fix that aerial. Oh, I see, it's got a ball socket in the aerial as well. We'll have a look at that in a minute, because that obviously needs repairing before I can show you that. I did manage to get the service sheets for it. Quite thorough. I printed it out on A3, and yeah, there's the car bracket thing. Pretty sure that's 6 and 12, but yeah, 6 and 12 volts. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's the car bracket thing, I think, that you can plug the radio into. Quite interesting. I don't suppose there's any more of those around. Right, so let's have a look at the top, and then we can start wondering how to get into it. I suspect it's going to drop. The screws on the bottom. The seller hadn't tested this and doesn't know if it works. There's one way to find out, isn't there? Right, let me switch the camera off a minute and reposition things. Right, let's have a closer look at it. It's got 4 wave bands. It's got FM from 87 up to 108, long wave from 150 kilocycles up to 300, medium wave 520 kilocycles up to 1600, and then short wave 5.9 megahertz up to 10 megahertz. So effectively the 49 meter band inclusive up to the 31 meter band. It takes 4 D cells. I just looked on Radio Museum actually, and it dates from about 1968. That they have a question mark by it, and they don't have a picture of one. They just have the same. Sort of what's the word for it? Photocopied picture as on the front of the manual here. Right, let's have a look at the back. Assuming this is where the battery's going. Right. Oh, that's pretty good. There's no excess corrosion or anything. There's a little bit of, obviously, some of the batteries, or one of the batteries has corroded and this foam's disintegrating. But this radio is nearly as old as me. But there's doesn't seem to be any leakage down here. So let's go for it. Right, the battery is going that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make sure it's off. What's the betting this works? I've never had any issues with Panasonic products. They're always, you know, of course this was Matsushita Electric Industrial Company Limited, and I found out an interesting thing today about Panasonic, that the brother-in-law of Mr. Panasonic, he also founded Sanyo, who Panasonic have bought out in recent years. Anyway, so let's try it and see what happens. Let's put it on FM. Right, ready?
Bring on.
It works.
Blazing on a sunny afternoon, and I can't sail my yacht.
Nice sound.
You've taken everything
Crackly
I've
controls.
got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Oh, nice sound.
Save
Still didn't think of it, you know, the idea of an eating disorder still didn't register really.
That's
He's just,
with just
he's a bit depressed, he's a bit low.
me
He's
as
gonna
an
get better,
aerial.
he's going to pick up. By December he was in a bad way, and he was, by then we'd got in touch with CAMS, was under the hospital, went away for Christmas.
Alright, that's switched off. I wonder what that is, automatic. That might be AFC or something. Let's just try that.
Period. We came straight back. We were in Dorset. We came straight back, and hospital. We didn't come home. We just drove straight to the
I don't know
hospital.
what that is.
Took him in. He was so dehydrated, and his sugars.
Don't think the light
sugar
works.
levels. They wanted him to eat a tiny little bit of Lucozade. He wouldn't eat.
Long wave. It's 1500 metres. Oh, no, sorry, 200. Right, long wave's not working. Should be getting BBC about there. That was medium wave. Again, over here we have, that was probably what you listened to the Kinks the first time, was probably BBC Radio Cambridgeshire on FM, and now we've got BBC Radio Cambridgeshire on AM, and it is rather switches need cleaning. Shortwave. I think the switches need cleaning. Yeah, there's definitely something there on medium wave. So that'll need looking at. Right, so what I'm going to do now is stop the video again and we'll have a look inside. Well, here we go, here's the inside. It's quite easy to take apart actually. It breaks apart vertically. You just undo two screws either side of the handle here, 3 screws on the bottom, and it breaks apart. There we go, there's the front half, if you like, and there's the back half, so it fits together like that. Nice speaker inside as well. There's something, I don't know what this is inside. I don't know what that is. Sort of rubber band or something. Maybe that went around the speaker wires or around the aerial or something. Very interesting. It's clearly not been opened before. There's some sort of foam. Or is that? I don't know what that is. I thought it was sand maybe, but it's some sort of foam. Perhaps there was a foam pad. Oh, here. There's a foam pad there, look. Let's go, I don't know whether that's the output transformer or maybe mains in for that car. No, it's probably, don't know, I'd have to have a look at that. Well, isn't that interesting? There's a better look at it. Alright. It all needs greasing up again, but it's just, as I say, I really like National Panasonic products where there's little choice on the market today. You can either go, you know, obviously you can either go high end or middle of the road, which is sort of Sharp or Panasonic really, and then you go down to stuff like LG and stuff. I've always liked Panasonic gear, it's never really let me down. Well, this is really interesting. Right, what I'm going to do, I couldn't, when this, you can see it, when the aerial popped out, there's a little shell that came with it. You can just see half of it there. I'm not sure, I've just had a search on my floor because I'm not sure if 2 bits came flying out or just this one bit, but Yeah, I'll have to, shouldn't be too hard to make. I've got some brass shim. There's the little light bulb. It's probably gone by now. Oh, very interesting. There's the speaker, and you can almost see it was made for the German market. I don't know if you can read that. There's the restringing diagram there, and that's in German. Made in Japan. It's a 2-watt speaker, 12 centimeter PD speaker, 5-ohm voice coil. Well, it looks like I'm going to get my Servicol spray out, give the switches some action, which I don't think you can get to, without taking the radio apart, and we'll come back and have another look when I've finished spraying the switches, because I can't. Oh, they're on the back of this board. They're quite deep. So they're quite deep. That's the switches here. Look. Oh dear. Oh, that's alright. Oh no, it won't. I thought I could just pull the whole lot out, but I can't. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I can undo these screws in the corners here and lift the chassis out that way. I don't know. I might be able to get some. Oh, these are chunky old switches down here. I don't know if you can see those. Those are good switches. I might see if I can just spray down here and operate the switches a few times and see what happens. Well, this is quite interesting. I've actually just managed to get it to work on long wave for about a second or two, and it just went. So, and sometimes when you turn it on, it's switched to medium wave at the moment. Sometimes when you turn it on, you get a station, or depending on where it is, but you get reception anyway. And then it goes like this, and this almost sounds like the Tin Whisker problem, but you can see it very faintly. You won't hear it on here. I can hear music, but there's no, that music doesn't change as I tune the radio or move the tuning capacitor along. Excuse me. There's nothing. Same on long wave, and the same on short wave. But every now and again, I picked up a French station on long wave a minute ago. So whether it, it could be I can't get the switch cleaner down inside far enough, because the switches seem to be right down here, the actual contacts. So it looks like I'm going to have to get this board out. FM is still
abroad, but also I think a lot of them have this desire to teach, to try and improve the game, and that was something they couldn't do in England. We weren't willing to.
Still works very well.
The idea that you could teach.
I usually make sure I don't drink anything or eat much before I get weighed. I'll have my down moments.
And sounds very good. And the little bulb works. As you can see, there's the bulb. That still works. So it looks like, unfortunately for me, I've got to take the radio out, the chassis out, which doesn't look that hard actually. I don't know whether it's just simply undoing the screws in the corner and then just flipping the chassis over after pulling the knobs off. Or has these knobs got to go back so they're, I don't know. Anyway, it's not something I'm going to do on camera for the moment, so we might return to this when I've got the chassis out. And yeah, I'll give those switches a good clean. Nothing. And we'll see what happens. But then I might have to go fault finding on the board. But it can't be that far from working if I've picked up long wave, and as you've already heard, when it was switched to medium wave we did pick up station on there, but I don't know if you can hear that. There's something there, very, very faint. It's like when you're tuning on shortwave and you hear a very faint signal. Anyway, that's enough waffling for me. We'll probably come back to this some other day. Right, you're going to have to excuse a little bit of wobble cam here for the moment. Now, this is the Panasonic radio out of its chassis. I've unsoldered the connection to the VHF aerial here, antenna there. Now this is one of the most strangest things I've ever seen. This is the waveband switching here. As you can see, it's rather like a German valve set sort of thing with those piano switches, and the actual switchery is down here, so it's a great big clunking unit. And you can see there's my finger against it, so you can see the depth that the waveband switches have to work, and I can't get cleaner down there just through the top there or anything. And this unit faces back towards this side, so you can't get in there with any switch cleaner. There's the FM unit, and you just see the AM capacitor gang through there. And there's part of the circuit board full of coils. There's trimmers up there. So, and down here's the output transformer, and I guess some decoupling, a big decoupling capacitor there. And there's the input for that radio, sorry, the car power extension sort of bracket thing. Let's turn the radio over, and this is the inside. All this black stuff over the antenna coil leads is coming from a bit of black felt that's stuck to the back of the cabinet here. Now, this radio has given me a little bit of a headache, and I've been talking to Graham, known as Radio Cruncher on YouTube, about it, because it's quite odd actually. See if I can get it stood up. Right, as you heard when I first did the started this, it was working on FM and long wave. I think we picked up a French station, and medium wave. Now over the last day or so it stopped working pretty much except on FM, and I've been fiddling about with it, and what happens is you turn it on and you can just hear radio station faintly, and it's going to work now, isn't it?
We still talk about it.
But as you can hear, it's quite statically, and then the volume will decay. And if I press, there you go, the volume started to decay now. There, it's gone. But if I press the dial light switch,
because a couple of bits and
it comes back on.
Today we've done Roberto Martinez being sat by Everton, but also
so it gets quickly high. There's almost some sort of overcurrent going on. Well, I don't know what it is, and I haven't tried shortwave actually. Not that there'll be. There might be. Can't really hear anything anyway. Long wave. It's getting loads of static. So it's hard to, well, take it from me. It was doing just picking up a station. Quite strange. It starts to receive. I don't understand what's going on here. And you hear that it's making all sorts of pops. Trying to find a station that'll come back in. But anyway, as you can hear, it's working, but switch it back to FM, and it's working on FM. It's got to find a station. There. That's very quiet. I'm not quite on station there. I haven't got an FM aerial attached at the moment. Yeah, not quite on station, but as you can see, it works on FM and I don't have to hold the dial light down. So there's something going on in the AM section. So what I'm going to do is clean the wave change switches and see what's going on then. But at the moment I'm really scratching my head thinking, what on earth's going on? I thought, well, I maybe think it could be a capacitor or something, but most of the capacitors are going to be decoupling and not necessarily exclusive to the AM section. So I'm gonna see how then the sound goes up, so I'm pressing the dial light, you can just hear it. So even on FM it is actually doing some sort of getting slightly louder. Odd. Very, very odd. Right, I'm going to put the camera down and have a further investigation.